Okay, in this video we're going to be looking at vertical ventilation. Remember, if you happen to get this station for the Firefighter 1 test, the way we've got it set up here, you would actually have to do two parts. The first part you would do like the ladder 1 and ladder 2 scenario, where you simply set up the extension ladder. Remember, if you're going to the roof to ventilate, you want to extend the ladder all the way up past the roof line, about 3 to 5 rungs for safety. Once you do that part, you would come over to the roof simulator to simulate the vertical ventilation portion. Of course, this is on the ground, but in real life, this would be up on the roof, obviously, and you would be, at this point, operating off of another ladder. We've already got the roof ladder in place. If a roof ladder is not in place, if you look in the book, basically what you want to already have done is already have the roof hooks deployed, so that when you run it up the roof, and the way the book shows it, it actually does showing it running it up hooks down. So that way you would run the ladder up, hook it into position, and then check and make sure that it's locked into place before you step off of your extension ladder onto the roof. The next important thing you want to do is use your hand tool to sound the roof on both sides of the ladder. Make sure it's solid. Then once you exit onto the roof, you want to make sure you continue to sound on your way up, and make sure that the roof is still sound all the way up to the point where you're going to do your work. Now in this scenario, we're just going to be using an axe, and we're just going to simulate opening the hole. But remember, on a residence, you want to open a 4x4 hole as close as you can above the seat of the fire, near the peak of the roof. You're going to have a partner, and obviously in real life it's good, you definitely want to have a partner who comes in behind you to support you. If you're the one that's going to be cutting the hole, once again, sound over where you need to step. The order that you cut your holes is you would step across, and you would cut your first downward, vertical, all the way through the sheathing on the inside of the far roof support member. Then we would cut the triangular hole to give us a point to punch out, so that we can pull the roofing material up once we get done with our cuts. Next, we want to cut across near the peak of the roof, the top of our hole. Then we come down, and we always work back towards the ladder. Then we cut all the way through the sheathing at the bottom, back towards the ladder. So that puts us back at the point of safety for our last vertical cut, which will be downward. And once again, we've got to go all the way through the sheathing. Once we've made all 4 cuts through the sheathing, a pipe hole works best. We can use that triangular hole cut near the top right corner. We can hand this down to our partner for safety. Use the pipe hole to lift the roofing material up. At that point, be ready for fire, smoke, heat, which is why a lot of times for this video I don't have I've got my pack on, but I'm not on air. But a lot of times it would be a good idea to be on air for that reason, or at least have it available. Once you pull the roofing material up, or you can also, if you're having trouble reaching across to pull it up, you can hit down on the side closest to you and lever it up. Then you'll hand that tool down, get a pike pole, like I said, push down or pull up, lever it up. But then remember, if the fire is below the ceiling below you, you've got to punch out another about 4x4 hole in the ceiling below you. We usually use the blunt end of the pike pole for that. So reach down, punch through. You should have heat and smoke coming up at that point if you've done it right and the fire was where you thought it was. And then simply, once again, the rule is get up, get the job done, do it safely. As you're doing it, your partner should be behind you with their hand on you to let you know that they're there and kind of guide you. But once you get that hole cut, get off the roof, because it's a dangerous place to be. So you hand your tools back down, sound again, work your way down, get back onto your extension ladder, take down your roof ladder, pass it down, and then safely descend the extension ladder that you put up to get up here. And that's how you would do vertical ventilation with an axe. If you do it with a chainsaw, remember, start the chainsaw on the ground, warm it up, then cut it off, then lock the chain. The best way to carry the chainsaw up is to have it on a sling or a piece of webbing that you throw over your shoulder so you don't have to use your hands. Climb the ladder. You still need a hand tool to sound the roof like we did to make sure it's safe. Then once you get in position, get the chainsaw, restart it like we showed you with the chain brake engaged so that the blade doesn't spin. Once you've started it and revved it up, make sure that you, when you're ready to cut, you undo the chain brake and you're ready to cut. Remember, every time you make a cut, you want it revved as high as it'll go before you even touch the roofing material. You want it at the highest speed it'll go. Then punch through. As you're making your horizontal cuts back towards the ladder, you should cross over at least one roof support member. So make sure you don't cut through it. Make sure that you roll up and over it. When you feel that resistance, just roll up and over to the other side of it because you don't want to cut through the roof support member. Then same thing, once you're done, cut the saw off, engage the chain brake, pass the saw back, get your pike pole or axe to finish it off, and then to punch through the ceiling below it. And then once again, throw the chainsaw over your shoulder on the sling, safely descend the ladder. So that's how you would do it. But the order of cuts is still the same. Make the farthest cut first, the 2 horizontal cuts back to you, and then the last cut when you're back on the roof ladder, vertical, and then finish it off. And that's how you do the roof ventilation.